Kings 1, Part 4. Elijah predicts a drought. Now Elijah the Tishbite said to Ahab, "As the Lord, the God of Israel lives, before whom I stand, there shall be neither dew nor rain these years except by my word." And after a while the brook dried up, because there was no rain in the land. The widow of Zarephath. Then the word of the Lord came to him, "Arise, go to Zarephath, which belongs to Sidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow there to feed you." And Elijah said to her, "Do not fear, but first make me a little cake of it and bring it to me, and afterward make something for yourself and your son. For thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, the jar of flour shall not be spent, and the jug of oil shall not be empty until the day that the Lord sends rain upon the earth." The jar of flour was not spent, neither did the jug of oil become empty, according to the word of the Lord that he spoke by Elijah. Elijah raises the widow's son. After this, the son of the woman became ill, and he said to her, "Give me your son." He carried him up into the upper chamber, laid him on his own bed. Then he stretched himself upon the child 3 times and cried to the Lord, "O Lord my God, let this child's life come into him again." And the Lord listened to the voice of Elijah, and the life of the child came into him again, and he revived. Elijah confronts Ahab. After many days, the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, "Go, show yourself to Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth." Now the famine was severe in Samaria, and Ahab called Obadiah, who was over the household. "Go through the land to all the springs of the water and to all the valleys. Perhaps we may find grass and save the horses and mules." So they divided the land between them to pass through it. And as Obadiah was on the way, behold, Elijah met him. And he answered him, "It is I. Go, tell your Lord, behold, Elijah is here." So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him. And Ahab went to Elijah. When Ahab saw Elijah, Ahab said to him, "Is it you, you troubler of Israel?" And he answered, "I have not troubled Israel, but you have, and your father's house, because you have abandoned the commandments of the Lord and followed the Baals. Now therefore ascend and gather all Israel to me at Mount Carmel, and the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Asherah who eat at the Jezebel's table." The prophets of Baal defeated. So Ahab sent all the people of Israel and gathered the prophets together at Mount Carmel. And Elijah came near and said, "How long will you go limping between 2 different opinions?" The people did not answer. "Let 2 bulls be given to us, cut it into pieces and lay it on the wood. Put no fire to it. Call upon the name of your God, and I will call upon the name of the Lord. And the God who answers by fire, he is God." And all the people answered, "It is well spoken." Then Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, "Choose for yourselves 1 bull and prepare it first." But there was no voice and no answer. Then Elijah said to all the people, "Come near to me." Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt offering. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and said, "The Lord, he is God. The Lord, he is God." And Elijah said to them, "Seize the prophets of Baal, let none of them escape." And they seized them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook Cherosh and slaughtered them there. The Lord sends rain. And in a little while the heavens grew black with clouds and wind, and there was a great rain, and the hand of the Lord was on Elijah. Elijah flees Jezebel. Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done. Then Jezebel sent a messenger to Elijah, saying, "So may the gods do to me, and more also, if I do not make your life as the life of one of them by this time tomorrow." Then he was afraid, and he arose and ran for his life and came to Beersheba. But he himself sat down under a broom tree. And he asked that he might die, saying, It is enough now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am no better than my fathers. And behold, an angel touched him and said to him, Arise and eat, for the journey is too great for you. And went in the strength of the food 40 days and 40 nights to Horeb, the mount of God. The Lord speaks to Elijah. There he came to the cave and lodged in it. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, and he said to him, What are you doing here, Elijah? He said, I have been very jealous for the Lord, the God of hosts, for the people of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, killed your prophets with the sword, and I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away. And the Lord said to him, Go, return on your way to the wilderness of Damascus, and when you arrive, you shall anoint Hazael to be king over Syria. And Jehu, the son of Nimshi, you shall anoint to be king over Israel. And Elijah, the son of Shaphat of Abiel-Meholah, you shall anoint to be prophet in your place. And the one who escapes from the sword of Hazael shall Jehu put to death, and the one who escapes from the sword of Jehu shall Elijah put to death. Yet I will leave 7,000 in Israel, all the knees that have not bowed to Baal, and every mouth that has not kissed him. The call of Elisha. So he departed from there and found Elisha. Then he arose and went after Elijah and assisted him. Ahab wars with Syria. Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, gathered all his army together. 32 kings were with him, and horses and chariots, and they went up and closed in on Samaria and fought against it. Ahab defeats Ben-Hadad. And behold, the prophet came near to Ahab, king of Israel, and said, Thus says the Lord, Have you seen all this great multitude? Behold, I give it into your hand this day. Then he mustered the servants of governors and the districts they were 232. And after them he mustered all the people of Israel, 7,000. And the king of Israel went out and struck the horses and chariots and struck the Syrians with a great blow. Ahab defeats Ben-Hadad again. The people of Israel encamped before them like 2 little flocks of goats, but the Syrians filled the country. And a man of God came near and said to the king of Israel, Thus says the Lord, because the Syrians have said, The Lord is a God of the hills, but he is not a God of the valleys. Therefore I will give all this great multitude into your hand, and you shall know that I am the Lord. And the people of Israel struck down of the Syrians 100,000 foot soldiers in one day. Ben-Hadad fled. Let us put sackcloth around our waist and ropes on our heads and go out to the king of Israel. Perhaps he will spare your life. And Ben-Hadad said to him, The cities that my father took from your father I will restore, and you may establish bazaars for yourself in Damascus, as my father did in Samaria. And Ahab said, I will let you go on these terms. So he made a covenant with him and let him go. A prophet condemns Ben-Hadad's release. Then he hurried to take the bandage away from his eyes, and the king of Israel recognized him as one of the prophets. And he said to him, Thus says the Lord, because you have let go out of your hand the man whom I had devoted to destruction, therefore your life shall be for his life, and your people for his people. And the king of Israel went to his house vexed and sullen, and came to Samaria. Naboth's vineyard. Now Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard in Jezreel, beside the palace of Ahab the king of Samaria. And after this Ahab said to Naboth, Give me your vineyard, that I may have it for a vegetable garden, because it is near my house, and I will give you a better vineyard for it. Or if it seems good to you, I will give you its value in money. But Naboth said to Ahab, The Lord forbid that I should give you the inheritance of my fathers. And Jezebel his wife said to him, I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. So she wrote letters in Ahab's name, proclaiming a fast, and set 2 worthless men opposite him, and let them bring a charge against him, saying, You have cursed God and the king. And the worthless men brought a charge against Naboth, and stoned him to death with stones. And as soon as Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, Ahab arose to go down to the vineyard to take possession of it.